Diane from Boho Stamper. Happy Monday. So hello, welcome, or welcome back. Actually, I've gotten several new subscribers to my channel, so thanks, welcome. And thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos and sharing or liking and subscribing or commenting. It always helps. I probably have more viewers so far in my YouTube channel than I did the whole time I was trying to do these on Facebook, and much less stress. So I appreciate everybody stopping by and doing some crafting with me. So today is Monday and we are in February. So this is the new February shopping code. I can hold it still. And this month, when you shop with me through my online store using the shopping code, because that's what lets me know that you have shopped with me as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, or when you spend $50 in product, I am going to send a package of these adhesive back hexagons as a thank you. And sorry, crackly voice. We've been using these in several of our cards lately, and I really do. I like the matte finish to them, so they come in handy. And when you spend $100 through my online store with that shopping code, you're going to get the hexagons along with a take your pick tool. And I showed a little bit about this last week, that you can flip the ends around and have a spatula end, or have, this is the end I always use, a pokey tool end. You have the adhesive tip, which we use to pick up the little elements and rhinestones and stuff that we're putting on our cards. And I think, when I was looking in the catalog, I think there's something else that goes with this now that wasn't originally on there, besides the brush, because there's also a brush that you can purchase in addition to this to help get out your little bits when you're doing die cutting. But I still think there's something else that goes with the take your pick tool now. Anyway, those will be my thank you gifts in February. So hop on over to bohostamper.com. There's a link there to get you to the my Stampin' Up! Shopping store. And then don't forget at checkout to enter 3 ECRK 2 peanut butters. Yes. Oh, hope everybody's doing well and staying warm and safe through the winter snowstorms. I'm tired of snow. Yep, had enough. I lost my little coupon, my shopping code there. Yeah, just enough snow. So today I'm playing with Daffodil Daydreams, and as promised, I did go back and study the dies a little bit, and this is a nice suite in the new mini catalog, and this is a great set for Mother's Day, Easter, or just a springtime card. And if I remember correctly, where'd my paper go? Look at that. I lost stuff already. We haven't even started and I've already lost stuff. Well, I think I have a new package. Thought I did. Oh my goodness. Is this it? It is. I knew I got a new package. Oh, it's on the other side of me. Daffodil Afternoon Paper. And we have used this a couple of times in some previous videos making cards. I don't remember which one, but the daisies are just way too pretty on this paper. And you can still get this package of paper that coordinates with our Stampin' Dies today for free when you spend $50. So look at that. If you spent $50, you could get the free daffodil paper. And that's what these are. Really pretty colors. I have a couple different scenarios laid out for us for today, along with a package of the hexagons for free. And celebration is quickly coming to an end. I mean, we're already in the second week of February, and this particular celebration ends on the 28th. So if you were looking at any of your free items in there, now's the time. And surprisingly enough, I'm not using the marvelous paper today, which I have fallen in love with and have used a couple times. And if you watch my Friday video at all, which uses other products, it's just a paper crafting video. I've been using the marvelous paper in my pop-up cards. Yeah, so anyways, the deal was I was going to do this card last week, and the dies were a bit intimidating, and I had heard that there are a lot of dies here. But really, once I got everything out and I started playing with stuff, excuse me, and for me, sometimes it's easier when I get a new product like this that has a lot of pieces. So you can see here we have 24 dies in this set. So when you first open it up and look at it, you're like, oh, alrighty. So anyways, I played with everything, and I did use the little butterfly die, and I used 3 layers of it and made a pretty layered butterfly. The die also cuts the stamped image out, and am I flickering from light there? I used the full daffodil dies and layered up a front full flower. This is sort of a side half of a flower and the bud, and I did these all on just an old piece of 12 by 12 cardstock that I had. There's a stem and a leaf facing left, and there's a stem and a leaf facing right. And then there are 2 more dies that cut the stamped images out. I made myself a note. When I'm doing this, I want my base layer of the daffodil to be a lighter color, and the darker detailed die part on top to be my darker color. Now the only thing I haven't figured out is this little flowery thing. And I did see that somebody said they thought it was the center to put in the daffodil, which you might want to do out of like an orangey color or something, but I don't really know. I mean, even in the catalog, when I looked at their cards, I tried to see where that might have been used, and I don't see it. So I'm just not sure what that little flowery die is. So I just ignored it for today. How's that? So anyway, I did die cut all the pieces for the card today so that you don't have to sit and watch me die cut everything out. But I haven't put them together, so we can do that and see how they go. And this was my first card that I did today. I made this as a Mother's Day card. Again, I'm letting my designer series paper help me out, because on the designer series paper, if you remember, Stampin' Up has printed on the back what colors are used in the patterns, and so you know that these colors coordinate. So we have basic black, crushed curry, and Daffodil Delight. So those are the 2 yellows that I used on my daffodils. I used crushed curry and Daffodil Delight. Evening Evergreen, Flirty Flamingo, Mint Macaron, Mossy Meadow, Pale Papaya, Pear Pizzazz, and Berry Vanilla. So these are not white backgrounds on these images. They are a vanilla, so it does look better if you're using your vanilla cardstock with them. So I did this one on Pale Papaya. I used my designer series paper to help me out here because I know my patterns are going to coordinate, because Stampin' Up's already done that work for me. And I also laid out a couple of other colors that I thought might look pretty, and when I put the daffodils together, we'll lay them on top and see how that might look. So this is using Evening Evergreen. I've used Evening Evergreen, and I cut out my little coordinating strip and my rectangle, and then I just cut a little banner die out of the Tasteful label dies, and I'll go over all of our measurements here in a minute. And then I can add my greeting. So I thought maybe I would do one with this little banner rather than having the doily. I kind of like that one. I tried one with this piece of designer series paper, and I didn't know if I would like the daffodils on top of that crushed curry. I thought it would blend in too much, and so I thought if I put the crushed curry as my first panel, my accent strip, and then my Very Vanilla, and there's a cute little spatter stamp in this set. You could always add some spatter in the background. That was another one. And then, of course, I love pink and orange together. And so I laid one out in Flirty Flamingo. And we'll see how the daffodils look on top of that. And then the last one that I thought I wanted to see what it looked like is Misty Moonlight. Now, I'll be darned if I could find the Misty Moonlight flowers, but I do think this darker leaf in here lends itself to the Misty Moonlight. And so, but again, I was afraid the daffodils would be, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't be bad on top of the pattern paper directly. So I had layered that as my first panel and put the Very Vanilla on top. I thought I could do some Misty Moonlight spatter in the background and then put the daffodils on there, so we'll see. So making our card today, we have one piece of cardstock, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock that's been cut in half and scored and folded in half so that I have a 4 1/4 by a 5.5 inch card base. Again, this one's out of Pale Papaya. And then I'm going to lose all my little daffodil pieces. And so here is my card base. Get my corners evened up there. Yeah, so our snow has finally quit for a little while. I'll have this folded very even. And to be quite honest, I hope it doesn't start again, but I think it's going to. Okay, so here's my card base. And then I picked a strip of the designer series paper that I thought would match my card base. This has a little bit of Pale Papaya in the flowers. So this is a 1-inch strip, and I need 5 inches of that. And I want to make sure that I have some of that Pale Papaya showing. So if I had this piece left, oh, there's some right there. Oh, there's a lot down here. I don't know if we're going to see that. So which end do I want to use? This is probably going to get covered up by the daffodil. See how that one went up. So maybe I do want the bottom half. I just want to have a little bit of that color showing in my accent strip. Okay, so this is 1 by 5. My Very Vanilla is 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to lay on here. And then my coordinating piece of designer series paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Or, I'm sorry, 3 by 4 1/2. Just giving you the vanilla dimensions again. And those are all in the description box. So this is 3 by 4 1/2, 1 by 5, 4 by 5 1/4. And then I used some scraps out here so we can do our greeting on there. And all the flower pieces. Come on, little friend. And I'm going to keep my little cheat sheet there. I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it. But so then I took the Heart and Home Doilies and cut one of them in half. And I know this is cinnamon cider, but it actually looked pretty good with that pale papaya. And then we're going to build our daffodils on top of there. So to get started, let's put our daffodils together first, and then actually we'll lay them on top of each of the other card bases just to see how they look. Silicone mat. These are some. My silicone mat needs a good cleaning, doesn't it? I'm going to use my fine tip art glitter glue. I do have Tombow glue here, but this has a fine point tip on it. Okay, so we're going to start with our detailed piece of the crushed curry, and I'm going to layer it on top of one of the daffodil petals. This detail piece has a little bump out on one side, as does one of the petals. Makes it kind of easy just to line it up. How about that? You don't even have to think about it too much. So I apologize, this is going to take a minute to glue these bits together, but I thought you might benefit from seeing how the flowers are built. I need my little tweezers to pick them back up because I trimmed my nails. I don't have any nails to grab them anymore. And the other one. I don't have very many stories to tell from the weekend. We had kind of a quiet weekend, staying warm inside. I did get to see a very good friend of mine. Her and her hubby were home for a family 90th birthday. And so I got to, they just stopped real quick. They live about 3 hours away, so I'm going to stand my card up in front of me so I can see what I'm doing as well. So now I'm going to layer my petals on top of the bottom layer, offsetting them. Just adding a little glue in the center. And then we have our little daffodil cup and the detail piece that goes on top of it. So it was good to see them. They didn't get to come home over Christmas, so that was one reason I'd asked if they could stop. I still had a Christmas gift here for them, and I hadn't seen them in forever. So what I did on here too, I wanted my daffodil to have a little bit of height. And so I used a dimensional and just put that on the top and added a little glue on the bottom of the cup and flipped it upside down on my silicone mat. And then I was able to give it a little bit of dimension there so that the cup is standing out a little bit from the petals. Not necessary, just something that I wanted to do. And then we have our side view daffodil. It also has a detailed top to go on it. And you just have to follow the shape of the petals. You'll know which way to lay your detail piece on here. It's really, it only matches up one way. 3 petals up and then the 4th one, which would be facing you. And we need the other one that looks like a little airplane propeller. This is the back petals on this side view. I can't pick it up. Upside down. I mean, the whole thing's upside down now, I think, but well, you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe that's why it looks weird on my. I'll bet you I put that first one together upside down. Let me see something. I think I did. I didn't notice it. This, the airplane propeller one, I should have turned it upside down so that the petals were round on the bottom. I layered that upside down. Oh yeah, that's going to look way better. I kept thinking it looked weird. Nobody will ever know except you and me. Okay, now we need to add the little daffodil cup again. Make sure all your little bits are out from the dies. I'll have to look on my sample page there and see which way did I layer it. Did I layer it right side up or upside down? And then I did the same with this flower. Added a little glue to the bottom and a dimensional on the top. I'm sure there's a correct name. It's probably not a daffodil cup, but it looks like a cup to me. I like daffodils. A true sign that spring is actually on its way. I don't have any popping up through the snow yet. I hope they don't, because I'm afraid with Mother Nature being as crazy as she's been, if we get another oops, I better hold that bottom down. If we get another freezy spell. Oh, I did put that one on upside down too. I should write myself a little note on there so that when I'm doing this again and I've forgotten how to put things together, I realize that I did that one wrong. Okay, then the third daffodil is our bud. This one's super simple. Super, super simple to put together. My only tip about adding the bud to your card is the stems are mostly hidden underneath the full daffodils, but not on the bud. So depending on which way you lay your card out, which direction your bud is facing, you want to make sure that you have the correct stem either going left or right. That's about the only hint I have with this, because like I said, the other ones are underneath the flowers and you don't really see them. They're not gonna look all weird if you got them on there a different way. Okay, so I imagine I will layer this up the same way I did my first one. I'll have my full daffodil facing the top left, and then my partial daffodil to the right, and my bud up above. So let's just go ahead and put the stem on here. I want to put the stems on so that I can lay them on the other card bases and see how they look. Oh, this one actually works out just right. My first one, one of my stems actually was going in the opposite direction of the way I wanted my flower to be. So, but it was hidden and you couldn't tell. All right, and then we have our leaves. So, and I cut 4 leaves. Oh, dropped one. Because I have 3 stems, so that gives me an odd number of leaves on the front of my card if you're following the rules of 3s and odd numbers. So let's see how this would look on this blue. Now remember, with the designer series papers like this, you can use the paper just to create your card without adding any that actually is really very pretty. Well, we might change up our card today. This is on the Flirty Flamingo. It looks pretty too. I guess I'm just going to make a bunch of daffodils today. Actually, I got to work on my my Alice in Wonderland journal a little bit for tomorrow. I have a few things I wanted to have ready for that, or for Wednesday's video, I mean. And then tomorrow I'm hoping to do one of my videos of my 5-item swaps that I did with a few ladies. Now this one's okay, but I have to say I think that it's a little too much yellow. I may decide instead to stamp an image on here, to use my stamped daffodils, or even this one, and then just use my blends and color that in a little bit. I think that this is just too much of the crushed curry. This one's not too bad at all. Very cute. I really like this paper with the little green hearts on it. I think that's adorable. So, excuse me, let's see if I can get some of my voice to stay here. So I guess we'll continue with the one that I did a sample for already, and then I will just die cut a bunch of daffodils and put those other ones together and have those ready. I finally got to take some of my cards down to the shop that has a display for me down there, and we decided that they also have an online store. So I should tell you, it's called 3 Girls in a Shop, and they have an online store. So anyways, I talked to the girls down there about, I didn't want to sign up to put my stuff online because I have a lot of cards down there, and like, how many are you gonna try to fit on your website, right? So we came up with the solution that I'm gonna do some card packs, and so I'll be able to have some of these ready to put in there and make a seasonal pack and do maybe like Happy Mother's Day, an Easter card, a birthday card, and I don't know, do 5 packs of cards that they would be able to put on the website, making it a little bit more realistic than trying to list all the cards. Okay, so to add a little interest to my Very Vanilla, I used my Pale Papaya ink and that little splatter stamp. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper here to put under it because I'm going to go off the edge. And I know that my designer series paper is going to cover up a lot of this, so I only need to add my splatter to the outer edges of this paper. Just in case there's anything showing below the pattern papers. Stamp cleaned off. And I suppose while I'm at it, I can do my Happy Mother's Day. Let's make sure this is going to be, I just pulled out some scraps here. I want to have one that's big enough. I chose to use the circle die cut out of the Tasteful label dies, just because I have my doily over here on the side, and I thought it would bring in that circular pattern a little bit more than if I cut out like a label pattern or a rectangle. Everything's rectangles on here, so the circles kind of broke that up a bit. And I need to stamp in the middle, so that when I do die cut this out, I have room for the die to go the whole way around my greeting. Hopefully I got that far enough in center. And, all right, well, let's cut that out while I'm at it and make sure so that if I have to restamp it, I can do that now. Fuzzies all over my top. Where do those all come from? Goodness. So these are the Tasteful label dies, and that's where I got the little banner out that I, which one did I put that on? I forget what card color background I used. And I just took a piece of the designer series paper from the pack, I had a little scrap, and I cut out a banner, only because I never used that banner die, and so why not, right? Okay, let's put Happy Mother's Day, and ooh, that just made it. Good thing I didn't use that smaller piece of Very Vanilla. It never would have fit the die on it. Ooh, I just saw a big icicle fall off of the spouting out there. My one friend posted a picture of an icicle they have out in the front of their house. Said it's almost touching the ground. Okay. Now we could put this away and we don't have to have the bigger the baby boss out today, too much taking up all the room. Hey. Guess that kind of helped having stuff cut ahead of time, didn't it? Be prepared. So I'm going to layer my Very Vanilla, which is the 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to layer it right on top of my card base. Trying to get it centered as much as possible. And then I'm going to take my doily. And the way that I lined this up was I kind of found the center of my card and lined the edge of my doily up against the Very Vanilla. I think I did use the fine tip glue on here to go around the lace. Little lacy edge. I didn't really want it to stick up and get caught on the envelope once the card's all put together, so it doesn't take a lot of glue. So about halfway down, just line that up. And then I can take that 1-inch strip of designer series paper, our little accent strip. And this piece, I'm going to line the right side of my accent strip up to the edge of that doily. And that way I only have the little lacy bit showing out the side. Kind of leave the same margin at the top and the bottom of your vanilla. And I think I figured this out. I'm thinking it sticks and peels up on my designer series paper, but if I use it on the heavy cardstock, it doesn't do that. So I'm just thinking that it's the lighter weight paper that my Stampin' Seal Plus, oh, don't stick yet, is giving me a hard time with. Okay, so let's get this centered a little bit. I got it lined up with the doily. And now see, there's some blue on this, but I don't think that's Misty Moonlight. I think that's more the mint macaron. Let's see. Yeah, that's not blue. And then I can take, and I don't know why, but I love this orange and pink plaid. I just think it's so pretty. And I'm going to leave a small border of my accent strip and try to leave the same distance of that strip with the edge of my Very Vanilla. And that's how I layered up my, or tried to center up all my layers. Layered up all my centers. Yeah, I did that. I tried. So I'm not really leaving an even space on the left and right with the Very Vanilla. I'm leaving an even space between the Very Vanilla and the printed paper. And that's how I layered up that little thing. Okay, so now we got to decide where the leaves are going to go, because if you want, I did have a problem with one leaf on here. After I put my flowers on, I had a leaf left. And I was like, oh, I want to put that behind the flower. Oh yeah, my flower's glued down. So when you're gluing these down, I would suggest not gluing clear to the bottom. In case you decide to make your leaves a little bit lower, you can always snip these off and just add a little bit of liquid glue underneath after the card's put together. So kind of aim for getting the leaves themselves, not the stem of the leaf so much. Give yourself a little bit of leeway there. Oh, got my stamp block over. And they can hang off your designer paper a little bit just for some interest. You're not really confined to this little block of paper. No rules. Just making it the way you like it. Use the colors that you like. Lay your card out the way you like. These are just suggestions for you, hopefully to inspire you. And then I think I want to lay down my flower bud here because I want this on top of it. how I'm going to do it. And again, I'm not really going the whole way to the bottom of that stem because I can trim them. Alright, now I can lay a leaf on top of that. And this is the one that I had trouble with. When I made my original card, I decided too late that I wanted to put this on top of the and one more. So what's everybody working on anyways? Are you making some cards? Are you getting your Valentines all done? I need to finish Valentines for my hubby and my kids. Okay, so now I can take my little snips and trim these off. I did, if you haven't seen my other couple of cards that I did, and I think I'm going to do one of these pop-ups as a Valentine. I think I'll put some little hearts. I have a bunch of hearts cut out left over from these boxes that we did on our video Friday. I did a couple Valentines, so I think I'll do, these are the ones I think I'm going to do for my family. This one maybe for my hubby, I don't know. I don't know if he'd appreciate the pink. He would. He likes all my cards. Yeah, so I thought I would give them a little bit of something different. Okay, now remember when you add your daffodil, if you're going to go off the edge of your paper, you don't want it to go off the edge of your card because, again, it's got to go in an envelope. I'm going to get this as close to the end of my card as I can. Only because I like giving them a little bit of dimension. But again, you do how you like it. If you don't like that, then you may want to just layer them all up flat on your card. Maybe not use the dimensionals under your little daffodil cups and have everything laying flat. That will be just as beautiful. Beautiful. This one I want a little lower. Okay. Give everything a second here to stick together. It is only glue. Oh, pen. Thanks. And I can trim off those couple more stems. And then let's get our little Happy Mother's Day. Now when I go to put this on here, because I have all my stems layered up, obviously it's higher than the base of my card, and so if I glue that on there, my greeting is going to flop around like a half-dead daffodil, and we don't want that. So I'm going to put a dimensional on that one side, and then I will add a little liquid glue, or I'm going to layer it on the stem. And let's see if I can get my font straight, so you don't really have to tilt your head too much. Cool beans, perfect. Perfect for me anyway. I used a little bit of the Pale Papaya Open Weave ribbon and made a teeny tiny bow. Again, optional. Now you could take this opportunity to stamp a couple of those butterflies out that are in the stamp set and die cut them and add them to your card. Or I used our new, because I hadn't used them yet, the brushed brass butterflies. And I'm using a glue dot, if I could find where I put them. Ooh. Everything's sticky today. I'm going to use a glue dot to add my little bow. As soon as I find the first glue dot, there it is. I had to check both sides. This is one of the boxes where there were glue dots on the front and the back. And so every once in a while, I'll be running my hand along and it'll stick on the wrong side. So you may as well use them and not waste them. Right? And then I just added the little bow beside my greeting. Use my take your pick tool and got a couple of the little brass butterflies. I want that one down there, or uh-oh, it turned it over. Turned it over backwards. Here or here, I think down here. And there is our Daffodil Mother's Day card. So again, let your designer series paper help you out there. It gives you the suggested colors that work together. And when you're playing around with your papers, you're going to see that, grab this green one. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but one side of the printed paper most often coordinates with the back side of it. There have been a few times where I've seen cards made using the flip sides, and I don't necessarily think I would have put them together, but it's a matter of taste, and so obviously somebody liked those designs together. That's fine if you like them, and your recipient is probably going to love them. You know, some people might not like that plaid with the flowers, but I like that plaid for some reason. It just appeals to me. And so here's your daffodils, a Daffodil Daydream. Remember to hop over to my web store you can get there through bohostamper.com. And if you're interested in this, you can get your stamp set and your die set and then get some of the gorgeous paper for free. The paper would be free through February. And you can use the one side of this 12 by 12 sheet and get 6 cards out of it. Because if you cut this the right width, this would work perfect just on the front of your card base. And you can add a greeting right on there, and there is a card. You don't have to go to all the trouble of die cutting the bits and pieces out. You can do it just with some paper and a greeting on there. So everybody have a lovely week this week, and come back and visit me on Wednesday for journaling and Friday for just fun paper crafting. 10 o'clock again here on my YouTube channel. Stay warm and safe, and don't let Mother Nature ruin your day. Send a card to someone and make them smile. Take care, everybody. Thanks. Bye.